fourth on the grid, and David Sears, Supernova team boss, as the cars now set off on their formation lap. We've got perfect dry conditions for this challenging anti-clockwise circuit as the cars go round in grid order, watched there by Paul Jackson of the Petrobras team, his man Pitsonia 7th on the grid. Everyone in position now. Here come the lights are on, the lights are off, they're away, and a good start from Mark Webber from pole position, but look at Darren Manning coming through on the inside, and now Manning's on the grass trying to get past Mark Webber. He can't do it. Mark Webber pushed him onto the grass, a little nudge there from the other red car, which is Thomas Enger, but somehow they've all sorted themselves out. They're in Tamburello already. Mark Webber has the lead. Darren Manning is in second place. Yellow flags because Sebastian Bourdais is off and out of the race already after his dreadful practice. They rebuilt the car, but he's already out, and we ride now with Pitsonia, who's made up a place there on Freisacker. A tremendous dive there from Pitsonia up into fourth place, but still Webber from Manning, from Enger, the blue car leading the two red ones, and then the battle behind them is Pitsonia, Freisacker and Justin Wilson, who is sixth but attacking Freisacker for fifth. The red car's Justin Wilson, the blue car ahead of him is the rookie Freisacker, and the blue car with the yellow nose in front of everybody is the Australian Mark Webber. Oh, and that's Ananda Mikola going right the way across the middle, but it doesn't do him any good at all because he's in the barriers, he's out. And let's have another look at the start. Watch for Darren Manning in the red car come leapfrogging up to second place, try to go inside the leading car of Mark Webber. Webber moves across on him, and briefly Manning is on the grass, and then a nudge from behind from Thomas Enger on Webber, but both of them got away with it. And indeed there is Webber locking up a brake as he brakes for Tosa, the tight left-hander that takes them up the hill, and still Darren Manning in touch with him, still Thomas Enger in third place, and in fact Manning really trying to attack now. Manning getting very, very close to Mark Webber as they come back down the hill and come into the final chicane that takes them onto the start-finish line. And can Darren Manning just creep a little bit closer and try and push the Australian into a mistake? Everybody else queuing up to come out of that tight, very anti-Bassa, the final chicane that takes them onto the start-finish line. Justin Wilson still worrying at Freisacker, but still in sixth place. Rodrigo Sperafico in the Coloni car is in seventh. We ride now with his brother, that's Ricardo Sperafico, he's in 14th place. And ahead of him, Mario Haberfeld locks up a wheel, tries to go inside Giorgio Pantano, doesn't get away with it, but Derek Hill does go inside Gianluca Calcagni. That's the battle for 20th place. But meanwhile, the three-car group at the front, still Darren Manning pushing hard. Thomas Enger in the second of those red cars in third place, and the three of them have pulled away a little bit from the pursuit. Pitsonia still in fourth place, Freisacker still fifth. Still the rather frustrated Justin Wilson sixth as David Sears watches his man leading the race. Battles going on all the way down the field. This is the battle at the tail. Look, going on the inside, Gabriele Verano being passed there by Gabriele Lancieri, last year's Italian Formula 3000 champion. And meanwhile, back at the front, still the leading trio as they were, but Freisacker having a go. We're riding now with Pitsonia, who's in fourth place, but the dark blue car behind him, Freisacker, diving up the inside under braking. Pitsonia, last year's British Formula 3 champion, riding now for the Petrobras team, seems to have it all in hand. But at the back of that queue is still Justin Wilson, still in sixth place. Remember, he's the current championship leader, and he won't be at all happy that he can't do anything about Freisacker in front of him. Today he needs points to consolidate his championship lead. That's his team boss, Derek Moore. So much Formula 3000 experience. Oh, and an accident at Tamburello, coming out of Tamburello, one of the Prost Junior cars. That's Gabriele Verano. Verano's car has shed wheels and a lot of bodywork, a big accident there, and the safety car, not surprisingly, is coming out because there's a lot of wreckage on the road between Tamburello and Villeneuve. And we see it again. He put a wheel on the grass, went across the road heavily into the barriers, and the car just spun and spun and spun. I'm told he is still in the car as the safety car is coming round to slow everyone down. he did hit that wall a tremendous thump, and obviously the medical car with Sid Watkins inside and all the medical equipment is on its way to the scene, as already the field have caught up with the safety car and are being held at a slow pace behind it, the Prost Junior team watching the scene on their television screens. And there's been a collision behind the safety car. That's a disgrace. Everybody has to go slowly along behind the safety car and right by the accident. It's just like drivers on the motorway who rubberneck at an accident and drive into the man in front. Well, Verano is out of the car and is being escorted by Professor Watkins into the back of the medical car. It was Derek Hill and Calcagni who collided behind the safety car. They'll be in trouble, and while the wreckage is cleared, we'll take a break. The safety car is coming in at last. The race is on again. Mark Webber leading the queue. Darren Manning and the red car tucked in behind. This could be his chance to get the jump on the leader. Thomas Enger still in third place. Then it's Pitsonia, Freisacker and Justin Wilson sixth. The order just the same, and they cross the start-finish line, after which they are now allowed to overtake, and Darren Manning has a little think about it as they go into the left-hander leading into Tamburello, but Mark Webber is ready for him, and somebody's gone off. The Durango team looking unhappy. It's Jaime Mello who is in the gravel and already out, and David Salins slowing without a rear wing. Those two incidents must be connected, surely. Yes, we're seeing a replay here, and indeed Mello and Salins tangled, both of them now out of the race. But still the order the same at the front, with Mark Webber easing out perhaps a few lengths. Pitsonia there locking up wheels as Freisacker bounces across the curves, and Justin Wilson tries to make use of that little mistake as they came out of the Variante Alta, but it didn't do him any good. They plunge now down to the double left-hander of Ravazza. And Jaime Mello back in the pits being consoled by the Durango team. Oh, and a very wide and odd line for Joel Camathias in the KTR car. Manages to keep it pointing in the right direction, but slips to the back of the field. We ride now with Pantano. He's in the Astra Megalola chasing Andrea Piccini in the European Minardi entry, and these two tangled in Brazil, so no love lost at all between them. A glimpse back of the leading group, little weave there from Freisacker, who is absolutely on the limit in his efforts to stay ahead of Justin Wilson and get closer to Pitsonia. Remember, every car in Formula 3000 is as nearly identical as they can be. Lola chassis, Zytec engines, Avon tyres, all meant to be just the same. And Piccini and Pantano fighting their battle. No traction control, no semi-automatic gear changes. It's a good old-fashioned racing car where the driver has to do just about everything. Oh, and Justin Wilson running wide there at Ravazza. He's in sixth place, but he could be losing his sixth place because of that mistake, because now Rodrigo Sferifico is side by side. Rodrigo Sferifico goes ahead. Justin Wilson fights back and clings on to the inside of that left-hander. And that was a great recovery by Justin Wilson. He made a small mistake, and if you make any mistake in Formula 3000, there's somebody there to eat you up. And Pantano eating up Piccini. He manages to get on the inside line going into the Variante Bassa, chops across to the right to shut the door on the second apex. Nothing that Piccini could do about it, and Pantano takes a place, and indeed Piccini's going to lose another place because Mario Haberfeld is attacking him now. But Piccini shut the door that time, so Haberfeld in the pale blue car looks just like Mark Webber's car, because of course he's his teammate in the Supernova team. Haberfeld trying to make up a place, but now Piccini's getting a run on Pantano. Gets very, very close to him at that chicane. He's going to get on the inside. I think Pantano's made a tiny mistake, and he's squeezing him onto the grass, but not enough. And Piccini's alongside. They must have touched there, so close at 150 miles an hour. And also Mario Haberfeld has gone through at the same time, and Pantano tries to fight back, but he's lost 2 places in 2 corners. Just the tiniest mistake coming out of the Variante Alta, and that was all that Piccini and Haberfeld needed. Now in the red car, that's the young British driver Justin Keane attacking Antonio Garcia's Red Bull car, and he's got past it as they come through the twists of Tamburello. And now Garcia on the grass. He's going to lose another place if he's not careful. Garcia getting a little bit wild, and Justin Keane being able to benefit. Meanwhile, at the front, still the same order of Mark Webber, Darren Manning and Thomas Enger, and Pitsonia hanging on to his 4th place, but under real pressure from Freisacker. Justin Wilson has hung on to his 6th place despite that earlier mistake. These battles going on all the way down the field, and that's Freisacker's teammate, Antonio Garcia, again getting it all wrong. Oh, and then spinning as he comes back onto the circuit, and his pit crew just can't believe it. That surely is going to be the end of his race. Well, at least as the pit signal shows us, it's dropped him to 19th place. Meanwhile, Mark Webber looking very cool and calm and collected. He's just set the fastest lap of the race. He's 2.2 seconds ahead of Darren Manning. That's not a big enough gap that he can start really to relax. The pressure's still on. Oh, and a twitch there, in fact, from Mark Webber. Just a little tiny mistake. His father is watching in the pits, but he gathered it all together again. And this is a race when you just simply can't afford to relax. Justin Keane locking up a wheel, clouts the back of Riccardo Sferifico. They both go off. They both lose several places. Ironically, it's Justin Keane who gets back onto the tarmac first. There's Paul Jackson, who's Sferifico's team manager, watching it all. Justin Keane having a pretty busy time in only his 2nd Formula 3000 race, and now he is hit by Nicholas Filiberti. Filiberti loses his front wing. They all carry on, they all fight on, but in fact Justin Keane's pit crew getting ready in case he's damaged and would want to come in. Oh, and a big slide from Andrea Piccini, who gets it completely wrong coming out of the chicane and takes Mario Haberfeld with him. Both of the cars off, parked against the pit wall, and into the pits now comes Nicola Filiberti for the new nose that his car certainly needs after his collision with Justin Keane. Off now is Giorgio Pantano. He spins back onto the circuit, gets it pointing the right way, continues, lost more places. What a busy race that boy's had. And the red car just up with him now is Justin Keane. So they're battling once more. Justin Keane goes past him. Pantano is wheel to wheel. They lock their wheels. And Pantano gets past Justin Keane, but I think that fight's going to go on for a little while yet. That's Mario Haberfeld in the pits out of the race. You can go watch his teammate, Mark Webber, still leading the race. And incidentally, Webber is driving with 2 cracked ribs, which he got when he was doing a Formula 1 test for the Benetton team, for whom he is test driver, and it doesn't seem to have slowed him down today one little bit. Now we're in the closing stages of this race, and Lancieri, Camathias and Riccardo Sferifico still fighting along at the back. In fact, Sferifico going past Camathias now as they go down to the Variante Bassa. Nice little inside line for the Petrobras driver, which takes him ahead of Camathias, but it's not a drive that he will be happy with at all. But the man who should be extremely happy, he's on his final lap now, is Mark Webber, coming down into the Variante Bassa for the very final time. Twitches left, then twitches right, the checkered flag is waiting, and Mark Webber scores a magnificent win for the Supernova team and is chased home by Darren Manning and by Thomas Enger. A superb win for Webber. Let's hear from his team boss, David Sears.
Here he's back, I think, where he should be at the front of the